What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Battle for LA podcast, part of the ClutchPoints and Blue Wire networks. As usual, Tomer Azarly, your Clippers beat writer for ClutchPoints, and I got a special guest here in this episode. Been trying to get him for a couple days now. He's been busy tweeting some gold, but he took the time out now. Mr. Kendrick Perkins himself, thank you for joining the show.
Mo, what's happening, my brother? I'm happy to be on. I know you want to talk some Clippers and Lakers and Kawhi, Bryant, Paul George, NBA. But look, I'm proud of you, what you do. Hey, look, one of the purists in the game. I love the content that Clutch Sports put out time and time again. I follow y'all and just keep up the good work. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, man, I appreciate the kind words more than you know, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Before we get into everything, I mean, we're still living in a really crazy time in this world. Pandemic going on, a lot of social justice stuff going on. How are you and your family doing right now amid everything going on?
I mean, we're taking it one day at a time. Obviously, we just had the weather storm, so
Right.
pipes bust in our house, which a lot of people went through the same thing, and you just have to deal with it. I mean, we're living in a hotel room right now. Grateful that we had a home insurance. They're gonna, put us in a house for the time being because that's how much stuff that has to be done throughout the house. So, I'm just grateful for the opportunity. The sad part about it is that while I'm blessed to have insurance and be able to afford to get damages taken care of, the bad part about it is that, a lot of other people that was affected by it who don't really have the income, who's not fortunate enough to have home on the insurance, get hit with this like at the spur of the moment. And it's like, wow, man, so many people got to go through it. So, my prayers out to them. And I just wish that everybody keep them in mind because, a lot of people lost a lot of things and still trying to recover.
Yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks in Texas. I'm sure. Well, in the entire Midwest. So yeah, prayers up to you guys. Hope everyone gets through that. I think the worst is over. I don't know about. I think the worst is over, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's back sunny outside, 70-degree weather, so it's all good. Everything is
Nice.
back to where it was. It's crazy. It went from below zero to back to 75 degrees outside where it's hot. You got to turn on the air conditioner.
I'm surprised you're not out here in LA.
No,
You know,
hey, look. One thing about it is that I'm a Texas country boy, okay? I'm a country boy. But if ESPN blessed me with another contract or whatever network and my family and I have to move to LA or New York, guess what? We're gonna be on the first thing smoking.
well, I did want to bring this up as well. I think you've been at ESPN now. What, about 3 years? 2 years? How long
Two,
has it been?
three
Two.
years, two, going on 3 years. First year was really audition. A lot of
Mhm.
people don't know that I worked my first year for free. I didn't get paid for anything.
Oh wow.
And end up paying off at the end. So this is my second year officially with ESPN under contract.
How do you like the analyst job? Is it different from how you see things as a player?
I mean, one thing about it is that I'm gonna watch the game of basketball anyway. So I'm gonna watch the game. I'm a student of the game. So why not go on TV and talk about it? But I will say this: I have a whole nother respect for everybody that's in the media. The research that you have to do on a time-to-time basis, the time that you have to put in. People don't realize it's not just going up there and talk about basketball and just go and say whatever. You actually have to do your homework. It takes a lot of time. And I just want to tip my hat off because the job is not easy. Everyone just can't go up there and talk. And then, by the way, when those cameras get in front of your face, you got to still be able to perform. And it's a whole nother ball club. You could talk about it, but when those cameras hit your face and you got to go to war and go to battle and debate your points, that's not an easy task.
I mean, honestly, you've been rocking it. You have had some spicy takes though, which we'll get into a little bit later. You've had some spicy. We'll get into that in a bit. But I did want to talk Lakers Clippers, Lakers Clippers podcast. So, right now heading to the All-Star break, Lakers Clippers have identical records right now. I guess what have you made of both teams' performance so far?
You know what? I'm gonna say this: Kawhi Leonard is having his best season of his career. Think about that, right? For us with the Clippers, they're playing inspiring, winning basketball. I love what Nicholas Batum brings to the table. I believe he's been an unsung hero for them. Tyronn Lue has these guys playing agenda-free basketball. Paul George has bounced back from the PG bubble, playoff P. I think, he's going to do well. And this Clipper team is dangerous. It's just, you know what? Let me tell you something. The only reason people don't talk about the Clippers is because we know that they're capable of having a dominant regular season. Well, what they did last year in the bubble, they have to show up and show out in the postseason. But now you look at the Lakers. LeBron is LeBron, MVP candidate. Dennis Schroeder is so critical and vital to them, and we saw that last night. Obviously, we don't know the circumstances as far as dealing with Anthony Davis' health. I still believe that the Lakers have to get an athletic center. I love Montrez coming off the bench, but Marc Gasol is really not it no more. And I love Marc Gasol as a person. I think he had a hell of a career, but the game has changed. So when the free agency market hit for us, the buyouts, I could see them maybe trying to get a Hassan Whiteside from Sacramento. I could see them adding a little bit more shooting. Maybe go get my guy JJ Redick from the New Orleans Pelicans. Free JJ, by the way. Those couple additions. But I tell you what, everybody keep talking about the Clippers and Lakers for as them being in the Western Conference Finals or whatever the case may be, like they're the powerhouse. But it's two teams in the West that's going to be standing in their way. And both of them going to have to get past each one of them. It's the Phoenix Suns and the Utah Jazz. Both of these teams are extremely dangerous. Utah right now is the best team in the league in my eyes, although they did lose last night, but you're going to lose games. It happens, all right? They're the best team in the league. They're not lacking at anything. And if they have home court throughout, it's going to be a problem because they have fans in the stands. Secondly, the Phoenix Suns, okay, leader Chris Paul. They have two young stars, right, in Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson are coming along extremely well. But they have other role players that are really, really good. Frank Kaminsky, okay, each one more. And then you add a veteran like Jay Crowder, I think is huge. So although I think the favorites are still the Lakers and the Clippers to someone beat them for us meeting up in the Western Conference Finals, they better strap their boots up when it comes down to the Phoenix Suns and the Utah Jazz.
So I completely agree with you on the Jazz and the Suns. They look very dangerous. I don't think we've seen the best of the Suns yet. But as far as Kawhi Leonard, you said he's having his best season. I think he's 50, 40, 90 right now, or just under 90% free throws. Why isn't he getting the recognition as far as MVP, MVP talks go? Because I know there are guys who are performing just as well, if not better, but the Clippers are the second seed in the West. They've missed Kawhi and PG for a few games. So why do you think that is?
Well, I think Kawhi has to take that next leap, right? When you look at all the guys that they put in the conversation, they're doing historical numbers. I think it's time for Kawhi to put up a 40-point night or a 50-point night, or even have a few double-doubles here and there, right? Because I think that matters. When you look at Joel Embiid averaging 20, 26, 27 points a night, almost 12 rebounds, couple blocks. You look at Big Jokic, his numbers are Larry Birdish, okay? You look at LeBron James, he's 25, 8-8, or whatever the case may be. James Harden, but Steph Curry. See, Steph Curry is actually having his best season since 2015, I believe, or 16.
16,
so
yeah.
Kawhi is actually in my MVP conversation. He's just not in the top 5 right now.
Okay. So I guess when it comes to, did the Lakers 4-game skid affect LeBron's? Because LeBron's has been playing at an astronomical level. But with AD out, it seems like he has to drop 40 a night just for them to win. Unless last night when they got Dennis Schroeder back, their offense started going a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, but but what we have to realize is that Dennis Schroeder was a huge part that was missing.
Mhm.
He's the only other Laker, in my opinion, that's able to create for himself and others.
Mhm.
And when LeBron has to do so much work, it's hard. But I thought it was a blessing in disguise for Anthony Davis to get hurt because now they got to see what they needed to add and see the additions and see that they need more consistent shooting and see that they need another big and rim protector that they lost in the offseason for as the White Howard and JaVale McGee. So, I'm looking at it here and I'm like, okay, they were able to see, okay, we need to get better at these parts.
So, in my opinion, like the Lakers, when they get AD back, I think they'll be fine. Like, I don't think there's any real concern other than maybe the big man position and guarding the rim. But like, is this a case of just make sure Anthony Davis is as healthy as possible? Like, if he needs to rest until May, rest him until May.
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone has to take precautions, severe precaution, for the simple fact that we all witnessed what happened to Kevin Durant with that same type of injury.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to rush it, right? AD long-term health is more important than anything. But if you got a chance to rest him for 6 to 8 weeks before the playoffs, give him about 2 weeks to get his legs up under him to play the prep going into the playoffs, you got to do just that. This is a guy that the Lakers are heavily invested in $190 million. You got to make sure you take care of your product. But, the most important thing is his health. And I think watching what happened with KD and Golden State, it makes everyone reevaluated especially when you're talking about your calf and dealing with your Achilles.
You talked about this part a little bit earlier about the Clippers and knowing that they can be successful in the regular season. Do you think that's why they've sort of gone a little under the radar as far as being talked about this year because everyone knows it's about the playoffs for them and not just the regular season?
It is, and it's unfair because they actually have been playing some great basketball. And I think as the time comes, as they continue to do this throughout the course of the season, and when it get time to when it matters the most, people are going to start talking about them. I show the Clippers a little love here and there, but once
You
it's all about, I want to see what happens when it matters the most, and that's what they're going to have to prove.
do. What have you seen from Tyronn Lue? I think you played under him for a couple of years. I think. What do
Yeah,
you think about him?
well, I was with Tyronn Lue in Boston when he first became an assistant.
Ah,
Also, I played under him for 2 years, and Tyronn Lue is a stud. Defensively, he has his thing, his T's crossed and his I's dotted. Offensively, he know how to put guys in position to be successful. This is part of the reason why Kawhi Leonard is having a career year for the simple fact that Tyronn Lue is putting him at his spots. He's letting Paul George do his thing for us being a ball handler, be more involved in pick and rolls, be more of a playmaker, not a pin down player like he said, quote unquote, Doc Rivers was trying to make him out to be. So when you look at Tyronn Lue, he don't do a lot of yelling on the sideline, but he damn sure do a lot of yelling in the film room. I tell you that.
in my experience with him on the Zoom calls and everything, he's always calm, cool, collected, level-headed. He's one of the, in wins and losses, he's one of the most, level-headed coaches that I've seen, which I think is pretty interesting.
Oh, for sure. He never get too high. He never get too low. He always stay even keel. And I feel like when you're the head of the snake, you're the head coach. That's how you have to be. That's how you have to be, especially throughout a long NBA season. You can't let your team see if y'all done went on a 4-game winning streak that you're hanging your head because they're gonna feed off your energy. And Tyronn Lue, he always have that poker face where you could never figure him out. He's that one person where you're like, man, what the hell is going on through your mind? That's what you be thinking, right? You be wanting to know, but he only give you so much.
And honestly, he's been so good in terms of providing us information and joking with us. So I love that. I love that about him. I guess to wrap up the LA part of this, the Lakers win the title if
they get an athletic big man and Anthony Davis is 80% healthy.
Okay. The Clippers win the title if
they get a point guard.
You think they're missing a point guard still?
Yeah, I love Pat Bev, but I still don't see him. I really thought the Clippers should have heavily pursue Rajon Rondo. That's just in my opinion. But they didn't. I don't know. Pat Bell, sometimes he could be. It's no in between with him. He's either really really great or it's just like what the hell are you doing? So that's the thing. And then another thing, we gotta find a way to keep Lou Will consistently going. Like he have too many flashes where he's balling, 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 then all of a sudden you're like, what's wrong with Lou? Or maybe insert Reggie Jackson into the starting lineup. I don't know, but he's kind of emotional too. But I still think they need that one dog. And I like what Terrence Mann, right, bring to the
Yeah.
table. But I don't know if he's that true facilitator.
I think he's also too young to insert into a big role like that. But he has been good when he's played so far. So um,
He's
I,
a, he's a dog. He's a damn dog. I mean, he's not afraid to get into you. I love the tenacity that he bring. But I think the Clippers just need that point guard.
okay, that's fair. Jumping to some more NBA topics. I know you've been pretty high on James Harden and the Nets in the past couple of weeks. Especially they've been playing well without KD. I think they're on a winning streak of about 7 games. I want to say 8 games. 8 games. 8 game winning streak without KD. What have you made of Harden's transition to Brooklyn and how that team has played with guys completely in and out of the lineup?
Well, Harden right now is the most important piece, in my opinion, and he's really the best player in the league.
Hmm.
The way that he dominates the game and still is able to get his 25 points. He's averaging a career high 11.6 assists and 8.5 rebounds and shooting almost 50% from the field. He set the tone for a sacrifice. All right. He said it when he got there. He took a back seat without really taking a back seat. And what impressed me the most was when they went on that West Coast trip and Kevin Durant, he made the first game against Golden State, and then he was out after that. And James Harden just took over. That game against Phoenix off a back-to-back with no Kyrie Irving, no Kevin Durant, down 21 at half, and he erupted for 38, 11, and 7 with the win. And then you fly back, you go to LA, you beat the Clippers, and he had monster numbers. He beat the Lakers with monster numbers. And now you fly all the way back to the East Coast, a whole nother 3 hour different time zone, get one day in between, and you play a game, and then you drop another 29-point triple double with a win. I mean, no one right now is playing like at his level, should I say. And when I say that, it's no disrespect to my other MVP candidates, Steph Curry, Joel, LeBron. But when I say James, he has control over the game. Like he's still getting his quarter, but still making guys like Brown and Joe Harris and all these role players fill up the stat sheet. I mean, that's impressive to me.
Well, so I'm curious because I've been thinking about this. Like, how do you judge? Because Harden's been balling out, he's been insane. But how do you judge MVP talks when it comes to how deep a team is? Like, Harden has had a lot of help. LeBron hasn't had AD this year. How do you judge that when it comes to MVP talks?
So hold on. So you think that they're deep? You think that I think that the Nets are top heavy.
No. So I'm saying when it comes to MVP talk, sometimes you go like, for example, when KD went to the Warriors, they didn't give Steph or KD the MVP because they said, "Oh, their team is so loaded," even
Right,
though they were playing spectacular basketball.
right.
So when it comes to Harden, KD comes back and they're healthy. Does Harden have a chance to win MVP? Because
No one on the Nets have a chance to win the MVP. Just because I call him the best player in the world right now, don't mean he's going to win the MVP. See,
okay,
that's just like last year. I thought LeBron James was the best player in the world, but he didn't win the MVP, right? Because people are saying, "Oh, he had Giannis." I'm looking
mhm,
at the effect on the game and how they controlling the game. So just because I mean, it's plenty of times we could say, history has said it. Well, the best player in the world didn't win the MVP. Well, you
mhm.
had Steve Nash win the MVPs when Kobe Bryant was averaging 36 and Shaq was doing his thing in Miami. And they obviously were the two best players at that time. So that's how I look at it.
Okay, that's fair. I guess there's always that conversation about whether the best player is winning the award or whether the guy, like you said, who has the most impact on the game is winning the award. So
Well, I think nowadays, I don't know, because the damn goalposts get shifted so much when it's time for the MVP award. In my eyes, the most valuable player should be, if you take this player off this team, where would this team be?
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, take this player off this team, where would this team be? That's how I think you should evaluate an MVP. Like, if you take Joel Embiid off the Sixers, what would the Sixers be? I still think they would be probably a 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, right? If you take LeBron off the Lakers, what would the Lakers be in the Western Conference?
They wouldn't be top 10, I wouldn't say. AD healthy?
Yeah, AD healthy.
Oh, they'd probably be a bottom tier playoff team, I think. Probably around the 8th, 7th seed.
They'll be flirting with it, right?
Yeah.
This is why Damian Lillard and Steph Curry are at the top of the top in my MVP conversation, because if you take any one of those guys off of those teams, where would those teams be at? Like,
yeah, no, it's a good point. So then I guess let me just ask you this straight up then. Give me your top 5 current MVP candidates in order, if you can.
So in order, right now, I have LeBron James, I have Joel Embiid, I have Jokic, okay? I have Steph Curry, and I have Damian Lillard. Now, I really want to put James Harden in there, right? Because KD's been out and they're on an 8-game winning streak. But the fact of the matter is, he's not going to get it because they so stacked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard for him to get it, but he should be in that conversation. He really should be like top 3 right now, but I'm going to put him at like number 7.
Okay.
Because I got Kawhi at number 6.
Okay, so you gave me top 7. I like that. There you go. Perfect. I asked for 5. You gave me 7.
Yeah.
Perk is the best. What have you made of the Sixers? I know Doc Rivers has sort of installed a new offensive system there, really centered on Joel Embiid, but that also sort of feels like a team similar to the Clippers, where we know they'll be good in the regular season, but can they get it done in the playoffs?
They will get it done in the playoffs. It's going to be the Nets and the 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals. This team is not lacking at anything. They have shooting. They have a dominant generational player and Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, okay? And then you talk about Tobias Harris, who could have been an all-star, having one of his best seasons. You have Steph Curry, Danny Green. You have the Dwight Howard, who has the impact when he comes in off the bench. Shake Milton. You have so many pieces that it's ridiculous. And then with Doc Rivers, it's going to be phenomenal, because you can already tell by looking at this 76ers team that they are fully committed and bought in. This could possibly be the first year. Well, I ain't going to say the first year. This could possibly be a season where you have an MVP and a defensive player of the year on the same team, because Joel Embiid could win the MVP and no one could complain. And then Ben Simmons could win defensive player of the year, because I strongly believe that he is the best defensive player in the game right now.
His ability to switch 1 through 5, like he said the other day, is very impressive.
Did you see what he did to Luka?
I didn't catch it, no.
Yeah, he had Luka in a straitjacket, like literally, like picking him up at half court. And I never saw a guy guard Luka the way he did one-on-one and took a lot of pride in it. So, yeah, that's why I'm at with that. The 76ers will be matched up with the Brooklyn Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm sold on it.
Interesting. I love that. General NBA landscape here. Which team do you think needs to make a move to sort of save their season? Are they kind of on the fringe, or maybe they need an extra piece? I know you mentioned the Lakers earlier, but who do you think is that team that needs to make a move?
It's the Celtics. The Celtics has to get better. Maybe they could add a Harrison Barnes. Maybe they could pick up a Blake Griffin if he get bought out. But the Celtics got to add some pieces. They need Harrison Barnes more than anything. And there's been rumors out there that they talking about getting him. They need to go ahead and pursue him, because that's what they're missing. A big wing player that's going to shoot a high clip from the three, that's going to defend on the other end, that could rebound. That's what they're missing.
But hear me out. The Celtics' issues appear more than just personnel. I know Marcus Smart has been out, but something's just off about them. Do you have any take on what do you think that might be? They just look off this year. I don't know what it is.
Well, I mean, they are missing their heart and soul of their team, right? I mean, you think about it. Marcus Smart, he gives them swagger, okay? He gives that confidence. And then Jason Tatum, I still feel like he hasn't bounced completely back from his COVID situation, right? And then you look at Jaylen Brown, who's dealing with knee tendonitis, who's not explosive. But Brad Stevens takes a lot of blame because he gives them too much freedom and don't hold them accountable. But if you look at this Celtic team, they have enough to be better than what their record has shown.
Right, I agree with that, which is why I don't. Some of the losses have been sort of astounding that they've had. The games that they usually should win, they're losing. So maybe they'll get it on track though.
They better get it on track. They better. But I think that Danny. I'm actually looking up some numbers right now, but I think that Danny, he has to make a move. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, he has to make a move. They have all this money for us with a trade exception. Harrison Barnes is that guy. You get him back. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go for it.
You get Harrison Barnes back, right? Think about this. You got Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and Harrison Barnes as going small. All right, but then you could throw in Robert Williams, Tristan Thompson, Daniel Tice at that 5 role in case you want to go 4 and 1 big. But if you want to go small, like you got enough, you know. Right. And Jeff Teague finally showed us some light last night.
Yeah, he did. But as far as the Danny Ainge trading things, I feel like, there were some rumors there that he's trying to ship off like, Kemba's not 100% clearly. And they're trying to ship him off. And after what he did towards Isaiah Thomas, I don't think players and executives really like that. Do you think that kind of has an effect on it? Because I think a lot of people still consider kind of, while it was the business decision of it, business part of it, people kind of feel like Isaiah got done dirty.
But how though? See, like that's the part that bothers me because it's the business. Like anytime you're a general manager, and although IT was a fan favorite, and he sacrificed a lot, right? But as a GM, it's your job at any given time that if you could upgrade your roster, you have to do it.
Right. No, I don't disagree with you on that. I just think when you consider the circumstances of playing through death of a sibling and playing through the injury, playing injured and worsening it probably throughout his career for the rest of his career, and then sort of the way it happened, the way things happened, I think is what people really view as that's messed up kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is, but that's part of the business. You know what I mean? So I see where you're coming from, but like you can't take it personal. Like it's just a learning experience.
Right. No, I just think this is why teams are hesitant to make moves with Boston.
Well, yeah, because Danny Ainge, I can't, but you can't blame him. I mean, you can't help that he winning trades and other GMs not doing their research when it's time for him to come aboard. I mean, it's part of it. It's about winning the trade, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Well, I guess both sides want to feel like they won the trade, though. They got a good enough package. You know what I mean, though?
I get that, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? It's just like, come on now.
Well, is there any NBA star that you would have loved to play with in this current NBA?
If I had a chance, who's one player that I would love? I would love to play with Steph Curry.
Steph Curry?
Yeah, like I don't know no player that wouldn't want to play with Steph. Even if I wouldn't have got on the court, just to be part of his greatness and be on the team with him and watch and witness what he do night in and night out, the way he changed the game, the way that he made pulling up from the logo okay. Like I don't know no other person that would have been like that wouldn't want to play with Steph. Like I would love to play with Steph. He makes the game so easy for everybody.
Well, would you get in on a 3-point shooting game, or would that?
Hey, good luck with that one.
um, I really want to know because I've been following. Obviously, I covered Doc Rivers and the later stages of Paul Pierce's career. I've been a big fan of the NBA since the mid 2000s, so I watched the Celtics win and all that. Um, the issue with Ray Allen, has that been resolved yet? Is it in the process of being resolved? What is going on with that? I feel like there's still some animosity there.
Let me tell you something. The stuff that's going on with Ray, I don't know because it happened when I left, right? I don't know if those guys talk. All I know is that KG is my brother, Paul is my brother, and I think Tom will heal wounds. Rondo is my brother, and I don't have a problem with Ray. He's still my brother too. So I don't know what happened when I got traded, but hopefully, we all grown men. Hopefully they'll get over it, and hopefully they'll meet down the road at a Hall of Fame ceremony, jersey retirement, or something, and just hash it out because we was too close. Like on Butu, we've been through a lot of battles. We didn't spend holidays at each other's houses. Our kids didn't play with each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? All that across the board. So at the end of the day, I just feel like time will heal wounds. But right now, I think it's just at a standstill, and it is what it is. You got to understand. I love all them guys, but we're dealing with a whole lot of stubborn personalities. Okay.
Well, the only reason I ask you is because I know Doc has touched on it before, and it's been I think 8 years now, and it still feels like it's there. I don't know.
It is there, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I didn't try to do what I can, but hey, at the end of the day, I can't force them to do anything. So I just think it's gonna take for them to run across each other, see each other, and then just hash it out from there. But I just feel like, man, I just want it to be done with. I want it to be gone and have that brotherhood again because we can't even do our damn like traveling together as the 10-year reunion and shit like that because for the simple fact of this animosity is just still sitting there.
Jeez, I know you get asked this a lot, but I'll just ask straight up: who is your goat, and how do you explain why he's your goat?
You know who my goat is.
But yes, but for the simple fact is, I need your unfiltered explanation right here. No holds barred. Whatever you want to say, go for it.
Okay, shit. LeBron is the damn GOAT. And I keep telling people that. And here's one reason why. There's no player in the history of sports that has had to deal with the one word, pressure, and have exceeded expectations. LeBron James has had more pressure than any other athlete, let alone any other NBA player. Being called the chosen one at the age of 16. And now we're still 2 decades later and we're still talking about his greatness. No one could ever say he underachieved. And I get it, okay? Jordan went to the finals. He went 6-0. I get all that. But at the end of the day, this is not an individual sport. Championships, yes, they help define your legacy, but they don't all the way define it, okay? You have to have those individual accolades also, which Jordan do, but LeBron got a lot of individual milestones he didn't hit that he's still hitting to this day. Okay, so when people bring up, oh, LeBron record in the finals, well, let me tell you something. It's hard just to get to the finals. And LeBron James has spent 60% of his time in the NBA finals in his career. So when I'm looking at it, it's no knock on MJ. I love MJ. I still got J's on my feet. But it always comes down to your preference when you talk about the GOAT in the NBA, right? Because you look at, like I go back to this point real quick. Tennis, you got to win championships to define your legacy, right? Golf, you got to win championships to define your legacy. Boxing, you got to win championships to define your legacy. Basketball ain't like that because you could just not have the team. Just think about it. 3 losses that LeBron had in the finals were against a Golden State Warrior team when he lost Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, okay? And then he went up against KD and the Golden State Warriors, which was arguably one of the greatest teams in sports, okay? So, okay, cool. Not making no excuses. But at the end of the day, I feel like this. It's whatever your preference is, okay? Because I could go argue with my great uncles and my grandfather when he was living, and they will argue me down and say, it's either Kareem, Magic, Bill Russell, right? Then you take it a generation under that. Guys 50, 60 years old, somewhere around there, all right? And they go argue that it's Michael Jordan, okay? And then you take it down to this generation, they go say LeBron James. Some people may say Kobe, okay? Kobe, right? You can't knock it. At the end of the day, this is how I'm going to settle this. I'm going to settle this shit right now, okay? We're going to settle this by saying it's whatever your preference is. If you like to drink cream soda, okay, cool. I may like to drink Sprite. Some people like to drink Coke. It's whatever it is, because we can argue about this all day long. But at the end of the day, guess what? All of these guys, these legends, these people that I name, they're sitting at the same dinner table.
So I was actually talking to Danny Green about something similar to this a while ago, and he spelled GOAT GOTE, and he said greatest of their era, and he just listed each player down by their era: Jordan in the '90s, Kobe in the 2010s, LeBron in the Kobe in the 2000s, and LeBron in the 2010s. Everybody's got an interesting perspective though, so I do like that. I think you spoke about Kobe and being the logo. What did you think about that? Is that something you're on board with?
I am on board with it, and I think it's fair. Look, the logo is a symbol, right? It's a representation of the league. All right. What other player represents the league better, has represented the league better than Kobe Bryant? That man, he breathed, ate, and slept the game of basketball. And when you think about him having that logo on that jersey and on those socks, it's a reminder, because of the Mamba mentality. Hey, go out there and ball out, because tomorrow is not promised, not just on the court, but in life, period. And I think, to honor the great Kobe Bryant, man, God rest his soul, I think that would be do everybody a huge due diligence to do that, because no current, former, or anybody would argue if he was the logo, even MJ. Because you remember MJ said it, and I said this yesterday. When he spoke on Kobe at his ceremony, he said, when Kobe died, a piece of me left with him. I died, like a piece of me died also. Right? So I would think, a lot of people saying, man, should be MJ. I would think MJ would go out and say, hey, you know what? Nah, let that logo be Kobe.
That would be pretty awesome if it was. It's been a rough year. I do have some quick lightning round off basketball topics though. So these are quick hitters. I need you to fire these off at me. These are non-basketball. Give me something people don't know about you.
I like to fish.
Really? Do you go often?
Yeah, I love fishing. That's what I love to do.
That's really why you're in Texas, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are things that you like to do off the court, like besides fishing? Everyday life.
I like to play dominoes. I like to play cards with the family. Yeah, I'm a spades type of guy. That's what I like to do. I'm a homebody.
Okay. That's good, because we're in a pandemic and you got to stay home now. So, what's your favorite movie?
All of the Fridays. So,
Friday.
Yeah, the whole Friday series, the whole package. Give me the whole package.
Okay. Favorite food?
You know what? I'm a seafood kind of guy. I can eat shrimp fried rice every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Oof, man.
Yeah, I literally could eat shrimp fried rice all day long.
Jeez. What are you watching on Netflix right now? Or any other TV show that you're watching right now?
I actually don't watch TV.
Really?
Yeah, not like that. So I watch basketball, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. I'm a huge fan of the ID channel. Okay.
Okay.
I love Suspicion. I love watching people when they have to go back in the time and solve murders and things to that nature. So I'm a huge fan of the ID channel, and then I watch Wicked too. And I'm a fan of that also.
Okay, okay. Um,
I actually, what's crazy? I don't even have a Netflix account.
you know what? I don't know how the hell you got through a pandemic. I'm curious now. How the hell did you get through a year? We're almost at a year now of being stuck at home, and I've finished maybe 5 shows, few movies.
I don't know. I just don't like. I literally don't have the patience to sit there and do it. I just don't.
That's actually impressive. That's interesting. Favorite city to play in,
Mm,
or that you played in?
favorite city to play in that I played in.
Yeah,
It was Boston for sure.
Boston.
Yeah, Boston. I mean, it was great because it's the city of champions. The expectations for you and the team are extremely high. The Garden be rocking like no other. Fans have no filter if you the opponent. You just love it, love it. It's a different type of atmosphere, a different type of feeling and vibe.
Favorite memory in the NBA.
The parade after we won the championship, it was the best feeling in the world. Just watching people sitting on buildings, sitting on light poles, and chanting your name, just all that above. That was the best feeling in the world.
Who was the funniest teammate that you've had?
Mm, I had a couple funny guys. I had, let me see. So Big Baby was funny. Tony Allen, Nate Robinson, but I would have to say Kevin Garnett. People don't know about Kevin Garnett personality outside of basketball, but he has a unique personality that you couldn't even imagine, right? Like he is night and day from what you see on the basketball court. Like you see this vicious type guy, but no, he is actually like funny, dancing, always want to tell jokes. And sometimes what's so funny about KG? He tell jokes and the jokes really don't be funny, but he laughed at it, it makes it even more funny.
Oh god, yeah, I wouldn't think that about KG. Yeah, like Richard Jefferson. Well, I had him about a month ago, and he was like, "Yeah, Tim Duncan is one of the funniest dudes that I know." And I was like, "Tim Duncan?"
That's what I'm saying.
So it's now Timmy D and KG now that I found out. So I don't know what it is about these great power forwards that look quiet
Yeah.
but are
No.
funny. All right, last one for you. It's a bit of a random one. Um, bone in or boneless chicken wings?
Oh, bone in.
Bone
Like,
in.
don't give me that new day. Now, look, I'm old school, right? Give me the bone in, man. I'm not with all that chicken tenders and all. You might as well go get chicken tenders if you're gonna do the bone. Bone in for me. Lemon pepper style.
God, not a chicken wing guy, chicken nuggets guy.
Bone in. That's real.
uh, oh man, Perk, I really appreciate you taking the time, man. You've been amazing, man. Tell people where to find your great golden work, where everyone comes at you.
Oh, you already know. Look, Twitter at Kendrick Perkins. Hey, look, follow me, but Twitter. You know why? Let me tell you why. Twitter, you have to have tough skin to be on Twitter, okay? Like thick skin, because the trolls be out there. It's uncut. People say what they want. That's the hottest thing. I understand Instagram and Snapchat and all these other things that's going on, but Twitter is popping.
So, do you how often do you see trolls and haters responses to your tweets? Because you got some gold on there, but people do not mess with it.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? I don't even care no more. So sometimes I take time twice a week to go back and respond with a couple of trolls, and every now and then, I mean, majority of the time I don't see it. I don't see it, but every now and then I feel like entertained.
Damn. All right then. All right then. Good to know. Good to know. We're gonna make some good content out of this. Hopefully, Perk over here shares it.
Yeah,
Let's the world see it.
absolutely.
Perk, I really appreciate you taking the time. It honestly means a lot, even on a weekend. You got stuff to do. You got cars to play and no shows to watch. Apparently, um,
So there's some games. The Brooklyn Nets play tonight,
there
prime
are
time.
some games. There are some games. We hope you guys enjoy this episode of the Battle for LA podcast. As usual, you can find me at Tomer Azarly on Twitter and Instagram. little bit of TikTok, but not so much right now. I don't know if Perk is on TikTok. I don't think so.
Nah, nothing about me is dancing. Okay, I don't.
TikTok's not all dancing.
Never was something that really caught my eye, so I ain't never really been on.
You can find Battle for LA podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, iHeart, anywhere you get your podcast. Just leave us a 5-star review. We're trying to get some more guests coming up and see who we can get lined up. But again, thank you again, Perk, for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate you, my brother, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.